This is a video blog of the last few weeks of the rehearsals all into one blog, so it's easier to manage and easier to look at. So with my character Sylvia, she's 25, so I needed to use Stella Adler imagining to imagine the age of 25. I know it's not much of a difference from 18, but it's still I still have to imagine I'm that person and I'm that age and I'm that in my life. I have a job, I'm an entertainer, which is hard to do because I've never had a job, so I wouldn't know what that'd be like, but I know what it's like to be an entertainer as I'm a performer, so I can relate there, but not relating to being a performer at a holiday camp or being in the 1950s, so I still need to use Stella Adler to imagine what it's like to be 25, be an entertainer and live in the 50s, because it'd be a lot different, obviously. So when the rehearsals came, like the start of the rehearsals, they would take place in like just a normal room, the drama studio, and there would be couches, tables and chairs in there, and in those rehearsals I didn't experiment with my character at all, so I'd just say my lines and I wouldn't react because I didn't feel it at all, and I did try, but I'd just be boring in the sessions and I wouldn't take any risks, which is stupid of me because you should take risks earlier on so you can relax more into the role, but I just didn't. So I'd just be awkward and I wouldn't be proactive in the scene and I wouldn't be alive in the scene. I'd just sit there motionless and not interacting with my other characters, which I should have done really. But when we went into rehearsals with the set, there was a dramatic difference because there was a changing of set, there was a changing of surroundings, there was adding of props, there was changing other people's characters, and you felt in the time because you sat there in the scene with materials around you like the 1950s, other people that are feeling what you're feeling as well, feeling the dramatic difference, and you feel in the time. And in these rehearsals I did experiment more. These were the final rehearsals until the shows. I experimented more. I didn't feel awkward in the scenes. I finally didn't feel awkward in the scenes, which I've wanted to do since Tomorrow I'll Be Happy. And I set that target for Heidi High, so I've achieved my target. Yay. And I had fun in the scenes. I actually had a lot of fun in the scenes. I felt active in the scenes. I didn't feel awkward. I didn't feel like I had anything not to do. I always knew what to do. Everything came naturally, so it was easier when the props were on set, as you could interact with the props, you could interact with your peers, you took risks with your character, as with my character Sylvia, she is a flirtatious character, so I took the risk to do certain things like rearrange my boobs, rearrange my top, rearrange my bra, because that's the sort of thing that Sylvia would do. As I did these, I felt like more in my character as Sylvia, and I really liked that. I really liked the fact I was being comfortable in my character. And then in the scenes, relationships with my other characters came across clearly, like Tracy. I didn't know whether Sylvia would be a bitch to everyone or if she'd be a bitch to certain people, but I didn't essentially make that decision. It kind of just happened. So Sylvia is a bitch to her enemies. Her enemies are Gladys, Yvonne and Barry, but Yvonne and Barry hate everyone, so Yvonne and Barry are everyone's enemies really. And that's it really. So she's really supportive of Tracy, and her and Tracy get along. They just laugh at everyone else, which shows in the show. I tried Sylvia being snobby to everyone and thinking she was better than everyone else, which didn't work, so that was a trial and error which failed. And it works better that she is close to Tracy and she knows her enemies as well, and she's not snobby to everyone, because Sylvia isn't like that. Sylvia's a fun character. What I wasn't doing in the old rehearsals was telling a story of Sylvia. So there was this Sylvia person who came on, did her lines, and after she did her lines she sat there and she did nothing. So that wasn't correct, what I was doing, and I wasn't living the character or being the character fully. I don't know what that says there. When we ran through the show properly in the set, it was difficult to get used to, and it was hard to adjust, because in the start of the rehearsals, like in the drama studio, we had loads of space and we didn't have any gauzes there or any entrances or exits. We had to imagine they were there, so we didn't know how little space we were going to have. When it came to actually performing in the set, it was extremely restricted and no one realised how tight it would be in the space. So it was difficult getting used to that. And when it came to actually being in the set, a lot of people were shuffling and making it awkward, and everyone was looking at each other and acknowledging the fact that we were really tightly squoze in. So we had to run through entrance and exits again, and where positioning would be, so spatial awareness got looked at again, which needed to be looked at. Having set and props up allowed people to experiment and ad lib with stuff going on. So when there's a scene going on in the office and there's people in the staff room, people would read newspapers, people would make a cup of tea, people would ruffle with like the sugar cubes or the trays and just clean up, and people would interact with each other, like saying, "Oh, would you pour me a cup of tea, please?" while there's another scene going on in Jeffrey's office, which was really good. So it made everything more come to life, which is what Heidi High is. It was real life, and the play needed to be silly, so people did take more risk when they were in the set, because it's slapstick, it's comedy, it's sitcom. That's what it needed to be. Risks needed to be taken because it was opposite to Tomorrow We're Happy. Because Tomorrow We're Happy was very restricted with what you could do. It was very to the point. It was very straight, and it wasn't comedic. It was naturalistic. It wasn't meant to be funny. It was you had to think about what you did. You had to process. You shouldn't have had lib, so that shouldn't have been done, which it wasn't. But that's why we did Heidi High, because it's to contrast in Tomorrow Be Happy, which obviously worked. So those were our rehearsals.